Well, good afternoon. Today is Saturday, August 2nd. It's a beautiful day. It's 76 degrees. It's so nice. My neighbors cut their grass on either side of me yesterday. Sophia's going to come tomorrow to cut the grass. But we have some birthdays today because today is Diane Cross's birthday. So, Diane, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Diane. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Kristen, Kristen, Kristen LaJoie, Lajoie. I think it's LaJoie. And I think it's Kristen, Kristen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kristen. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Laura Hall. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Laura. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. And Suzanne Mullins. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Suzanne. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope all four of you have a great, great birthday. And if I could ask you to say some prayers for Linda Hughes' son. Linda asked me to do a prayer request, and so I said certainly. I'm a firm believer in prayer. I think it really makes all the difference. Mary went over to my site on the other day, and she was just overwhelmed with all the love and support she's getting with all the prayers, and it really makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. So thank you so much for including Mary in your prayers too. Mary made me some chimichangas, I think they're called. I think that's a chimichanga. Anyway, I didn't eat it yesterday. I'm going to eat it today for my lunch. It's so good. And then I have some pasta salad, like an pasta salad that I'm going to have for dinner. So that's my plans for today, for as far as eating wise. Jim went with his friends to his sportsman club to shoot at the shooting range. He says, "You can come and watch." I said, "No, thank you." I've never shot a gun in my life. I've only held a rifle one time in my life. And I think I've told you this before. A couple years ago for Christmas, I did tell you this, but I'll tell you again. A couple years for Christmas, Jim wanted this particular rifle. I even forget what kind of rifle it was. I have no idea what they're called. But anyway, so I went in myself. It was during 2020, as a matter of fact, because we were wearing masks. So I went in, and was it? Trying to think when I bought it. No, I don't think I had a mask. Yeah, I remember. Oh boy. I know, memory's the first thing to go. Anyway, I went in the first time to get the gun, and I didn't know that much about it. And so then I was asking the guy, and he asked me, he says, "Are you buying this for someone else?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I'm buying it for my husband for a Christmas gift." And then he was done with me. He says, "No, I'm not allowed to sell the gun to somebody that they're going to give it to somebody else. It's against the law." And I said, "Well, it's just a gift." And so he said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't." Well, okay, whatever. So I left, and then I went and, which is good. I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's a good plan. So then I called my nephew Will and asked him everything that I needed to know about a gun. This particular rifle that Jim wanted for Christmas. And so he told me all the things to ask, and if they ask this question, how to answer it this way, all of that good stuff, So I waited about a week, and I went in the store first to see if the guy was working, and he wasn't. So I put my hood up. I think I did wear I don't know, it had to have been like at the tail end of 2020, because I remember I did wear a mask in that, and so then, because at that point you didn't have to wear a mask, but I wore it anyhow. I wore my mask, I had my hood up, I looked like the Unabomber, and I got some guy in. I was telling him exactly what rifle I wanted and everything, and I was very informative. I knew exactly what I wanted, and he says, "Well, who are you buying this rifle for?" And I said, "Well, for myself. I'd like to go shoot with my husband." I lied, which shows you how easy it is to get a gun. But anyway, so he went in the back, and he was there for the longest time, and he says, "Well, I couldn't find," he says, "this is the only one of this particular kind that you were asking for that I can find." And I looked at it, and I says, "Oh, that's nice." And he said, "Aren't you going to hold it to see if you like it?" And I said, "Oh, it looks really nice." He says, "Well, you should sight it in and everything. Look over there at that target," because they had targets up. "Look at that target." And so then I picked it up and pretended like I knew what I was doing. And there was like 4 or 5 men around me, and they come over and they were just so admiring this rifle, like it was like the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, they were going. I thought, well, this is the rifle I gotta buy. So then he says, well, we have to do a background check, and so I said, okay. So we did the background check, and then I walked out of the store with the rifle. Jim was very happy with it when he opened it. He was very shocked when he opened it on Christmas morning. And then the first time he went and brought it to the rifle range to shoot with it, some guy was there, and he said, where did you get that rifle? And he says, well, my wife got it for a Christmas present for me this year. And he says, well, where did she get it at? And he says, oh, at Cabela's over on Hall Road. And he says, oh, can I tell you a story about that rifle? And so Jim says, yeah, go ahead. He says, my best friend works at Cabela's, and he hid that rifle in the stock room because he was going to buy it later because it's a collector's item. There's only 50 of them made. And so your wife was lucked out on that one. And then when Jim came and told me the story, I said, that makes sense because the guy said he found it on a shelf that it wasn't supposed to be on. And I remember when I worked in retail that if we saw something that we really wanted to buy, and we didn't have the money at the time, we used to hide it somewhere. We'd still keep it in the stock room, but like not in the right area in the stock room. It's 1 o'clock, so all of our sirens are going off if you're hearing that. It's not an air raid going on or anything. But, so that's what the guy did. He wanted to buy the rifle. He didn't have the money for the rifle, so he hid it in a spot where it wasn't supposed to be. And I probably got some new kid that didn't know about the way that they were doing things at the store. I'm sure he caught Al afterwards. So Jim very rarely shoots the rifle now that he knows. I mean, he shoots it every once in a while, but not that often. But he keeps it really clean and everything. But we have gun safes. We have a gun safe with a lock on it. And then the room that it's in has got a lock on it. So it's like double protected. And the kids just know they can't go in that room because it's Papa's room. So that doesn't mean that kids won't do what kids will do, because we all know that. But that's why we have the double lock on there. We have like a lock on a deadbolt and then a lock on the actual safe. So, but speaking of the sirens, the other night there was all this noise. It was like all this gunfire, like there was some major catastrophe going on. And so then I said to Jim, I said, do you hear that? And he says, oh, it's just fireworks. Since we went outside and we were looking, and we could hear it, and then we were looking in the direction that it was coming from, and there was no fire. There was no fireworks. I said, that is gunfire. So then I, go on to Facebook and everything, and we couldn't find anything, and we went on our Macomb scanner and all of that. Nothing showed up. I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, and Jim kept saying, it's just fireworks. And I said, Jim, that is gunfire. I know gunfire when I hear gunfire. And not that I do. But you'd think Jim would. I mean, he shoots out of range. And maybe he's just trying to calm me down or something. I don't know. But then the next morning on Facebook, because I live about 2 miles from Selfridge Air Force Base, they were doing a terrorist drill with live ammunition. So they wanted to see response time, because there's a police station right there by the base too. So it was a drill that they should have let the public know beforehand, because I guess there was a lot of panic calls to 911. Don't tell me I didn't hear something when I know I heard it. But so I finished. Let me show you the book. I finished it last night. I was determined. But I have to tell you, there's 402 pages, which is a big book for me. It didn't get my interest until I was on page 200. I think it was 200. And then it started, let me look and see. I'm almost positive it was 200, because then it started on part 2. And part 1 was just setting up for part 2. Yeah, right around 200 pages. And then when I hit the 200 page mark, then it piqued my interest, and then I couldn't put the book down. But it was a struggle to get through. I didn't realize there was 2 parts, but even then, the first part was a struggle to get through. But they had to set up for the second part, because the second part kind of went back and rehashed some of the first part from the different points of view from all the different suspects, because there was a lot of suspects. And I have to say that it did fool me. I couldn't figure out who it was. Everyone I thought it wasn't. And the one that I thought the least likely one that I thought would have been, it was. So it was really it was a really good book if you can get past the first boring 200 pages. So now let me show you what we're going to be reading now. Okay, as you can see, it's a paperback. I think the next book in the series is a paperback too, and then the next 2 or 3 are hardcover, and then the last book is another paperback. So we're going to start reading this one. It's 340 pages. Let's see if this got a synopsis on it. A cop lies dying beneath the blistering Arizona sun, a local lawman who may well have become the next sheriff of Cochise County. The police brass claimed that Andy Brady was dirty and that his shooting was a suicide attempt. Joanna Brady, his devoted wife and mother of their 9-year-old daughter, knows a cover-up when she hears one, and murder when she sees it. But her determined efforts to hunt down an assassin and clear her husband's name are placing Joanna and her surviving family in harm's way. Because in the desert, the one thing more lethal than a rattler's bite is the truth. I think I'm going to like this series. So there's 25 books in this series. So that's my August goal. Probably have another goal in September. I haven't figured out which series. I might start reading The Lincoln Lawyer. Denise is swearing by the Netflix series The Lincoln Lawyer. Christy is swearing by she's reading the series The Lincoln Lawyer, and I think she watched a couple episodes on what do you call it, Netflix. I saw the movie, the original movie. I think it was with Matthew McConaughey. I saw the movie, but I have never watched the series. But I guess it's pretty good. Like I said, I can watch it out here because I watch TV out here, but I stay outside as much as I can in the summer. And even in the fall, as long as the weather holds for me. I did a little bit of weeding this morning, and I fed my birds. Talked to Christy. Played my games on my phone. And now I'm just going to make my chimichanga for lunch and get on with my day. So, and then there's a smashed bird's egg here. I don't know how it got smashed. I don't have any bird's nest. I didn't think I had I had the bird's nest in the ground. Remember when Sophia almost ran it over? But anyway, it's kind of sad. Hopefully the bird got away. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it. Let's get together tomorrow. Hopefully we see each other then.